Yeah, that was confusing. Let me, uh, let me make a party and do that. Alright, it's set. It was set before that. The fact that that's running through the stream is great. let's let's remember that the streams are on. Can I just say, me and Damage are instantly demonetized for having our stream up while in this chat. We're instantly demonetized with all the swearing. Okay, everybody quiet. My thing is, it's kind of like, we need to stay consistent. Alright. Come on, damage. Alright, audio is working. Yo, what's up? Okay.
It's about to go down.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Time for the UDL F1 League Belgian Grand Prix round 13. Coming right up. Right after this blue screen. We got a full lobby today. Thank God. Almost a full lobby. I don't know if it's full or not.
I think there's one or two people missing, but very close.
Which includes space. I mean, if space does show up, then we'll be fuller. So this will be a fun race.
Well, it always is at Belgium.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just wait for this to load up. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the UDL F1 League Belgian Grand Prix round 13 of this championship. We are your commentators, Mr. Damage and Jonathan. How are you doing today, Jonathan?
I am doing great, and I'm super excited to see a great race at the historic Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, I absolutely am too. This is going to be a complete thriller here. We have a few new entries in the field and also a few different fill-in drivers this weekend. We've got a few drivers that have made the step up from the F2 League that is now extinguished for this Belgian GP. We almost have a full grid, 19 drivers out here today. So this is going to be a fun race.
Yes, it is, and Boknos has already come out for his first lap out of the pits, followed by a few other drivers.
Boknos is going for that clean air. All out there on his lonesome.
I can't blame him with the high-speed corners on this track. The downforce is extremely important for a fast lap.
Yeah, this train of drivers here is really going to be hampered a lot unless they park it up to kind of create space a little bit.
I do apologize to my viewers. We seem to have a lack of sound in qualifying. It's not the first time it happens, but it should reset for the race.
I've got sound on my stream somehow. So as the drivers come around now, looks like a McLaren of Greco is pulling over to the side to let the whole group through. Bokanos is coming up to the end of the second sector now. Going to be blasting up towards Blanchimont here soon. This is by far the best track on the F1 calendar in almost everybody's opinion. And if that's not your opinion, you're wrong. The Belgian GP is always the best race.
In all honesty, this is one of the best tracks in the world, period. No matter what schedule you're talking, Blancpain GP, World Endurance Championship, or F1, every race that is held at Spa-Francorchamps is always incredible.
As Bokanos comes across the line to start his first flying lap, gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit of that hairpin. That hairpin's very tough. You're going to ride on board with him up through Eau Rouge. This is one of the toughest corners in motorsports. That fast right-left over the top of the crest, and now down the long straight. He sweeps back over to the left side to come into these turns. I forgot what their names are. I'm really smart. Coming down to this third gear right-hander, the corner that never ends. It's downhill. You have to wait, and then you can punch it on exit, coming up towards the corner with no name, flying through there, carrying a ton of speed up towards Pouhon. Pouhon is also one of the toughest corners on the calendar. This track is just one of the toughest in general. It's very easy to get this one wrong. That curb on the inside at the exit is one killer of a curb. Sweeping down to the end of Sector 2 now, catching up to a car on his outlap. It looks like one of the Haas drivers. He comes around the final corner in the second sector now to set a 117.1 through his second sector as he blasts up towards Blanchimont in this long, not exactly straight, but we can count it as a straight. towards this bus top chicane. He flies through Blanchimont. Not a very easy place to overtake, but it is possible up towards this bus stop chicane. It's very easy to outbrake yourself into the chicane. It looks like he did just a little bit as he opens up his DRS to come across the line and set the first lap at a 145.6. Put himself onto a provisional pole as Man has already retired. He's already out of it. Is get that money and run. Puts in a 145.5. And Racer Rex comes across the line with a 146.3. Sniper Pig, 144.0 to put himself on top of the timesheets. Hefty Bag comes across the line on the medium tires with a 145.8. Good pace on those medium tires from Hefty Bag.
Yeah.
As Greco comes across the line now for his first flying lap with a 146.3. Not very good for his standards.
Hefty Bag was doing extremely well in the F2 league. Being top of the points at one point, so I could see him definitely pulling out all the stops for this F1 league.
Yeah, we all know that Hefty Bag is a very quick driver. It's just whether he can hold it all together here to get some good laps in this qualifying session. Here we have Miami coming towards Blanchimont now. I just love saying Blanchimont in all honesty. Flies around that corner up towards the bus stop chicane.
See, the bus stop
slamming on those brakes.
The bus stop is an extremely difficult corner because it's not only is it very easy for you to outbrake yourself, but it's so easy to get on the power just a second too early and whip the back end of the car around.
So it looks like Drew Yu is up behind a Renault and a Ferrari here at the end of his flying lap. Let's see where he goes. He's up into P8. As it looks like the Mercedes Dysac, I don't know how to say his name, puts it into P5, and Sinister Owl puts in a 144.9. He has fully recovered, I am pretty sure, from his injuries. His Apex glide joins the session.
I was about to say Sniper Pig was going to finish his second flying lap, but he dipped it into the pits.
Hefty Bag completes a second flying lap, but it is not any faster than his first flying. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. He went up 145.3 and put himself in a P3.
Dilsack, he is currently stopped. I think that's the Camel Straight. And
yeah, just letting a few drivers through here.
Yeah. Little bit of a dangerous position to be in, but I can understand. Definitely stopping on the track is a no-no. If you do want to let drivers go through, get off the track. But there's a Ferrari in the wall of Imran Thunder.
He has been disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. So Imran Thunder and Man already out of this qualifying session, and Thunder will have to start from dead last in this 19-car grid. What a time for this grid to be full for Thunder.
Ugh. Hard luck for the Ferrari team right now.
As Miami comes across the line, he does not improve his lap time. And it looks like the Williams of Dahl has just came across the line. Pecan has just set a lap time of 144.4 to put himself into P2.
I'm curious to see what Hefty can do once he gets onto the soft tires. He's got extremely quick pace on the mediums. The only person in the top 10 on the mediums.
As it looks like Greco is running without a front wing, doing a little bit of testing for later in the race, it seems, in case there's a lap 1 calamity. This is going to hinder him a ton coming around now up towards Blanchimont. He's losing a lot of time and missing out on a lap here. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2 for Glen Coco. Glen Coco is spun.
Dollaride
looks like at the end of sector 2. See if I can catch somebody at the end of their lap now. Pecan is going through Puan now. See if I can catch anybody else on a flying lap towards the end of the lap. Greco pulls into the pit lane without his front wing.
Quite a few
Dollar
cars
pulls back onto the track.
Or going very slow on the course.
Glenn Coco peels off into the pit lane after his spin. I'm going to go back up to Pecan to see if he pulls into the pit lane or not. It looks like he will. He's 3 seconds off of his best lap time.
Miami setting another quick lap as he dips into the pits.
See if there's any other drivers on a hot lap now. It doesn't look like it. Sniper Pig just started one as Pecan peels off into the pit lane.
Interesting to see how many people are going extremely slow in qualifying or stopped altogether.
With how big this track is, you would expect traffic not to be too bad, but we also have 17 cars on track right now. And we also have 4 drivers that are still in the session that haven't completed a lap yet. Sniper Pig comes around through the middle sector now through this long right-hander coming up to the corner with no name. I'm pretty sure it has a name now, but it sounds better if you say the corner with no name. Come up to Puan. I love Puan. It's one of the best corners in the world. This corner is so tough. You have to fling it in with confidence that the car's going to stick, or else you're not going to go fast.
I 100% agree. From my World Endurance Championship experience, there is nothing more satisfying than being in an LMP1 car and passing 2 GT cars on the outside of that corner with the high downforce.
Looks like Bokanos was in Sniper Pig's way just a little bit there. He tried to pull off the track going onto the straight, but he was just in his way and was on the top of the curbing, and Sniper Pig had to take evasive action to miss him as he's coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Now let's see if he can improve on his time. He was around half a tenth down at the end of the second sector. Let's see if he can bring it back into that bus stop chicane, open up that DRS flap, and he will be 12 thousandths slower than his last time. The consistency out of Sniper Pig is immense right now.
That is incredible.
As Get That Money and Run is coming up towards the bus stop chicane now. Racer X finished his next flying lap with a 1:45.0. Put himself up into P4 in that Williams. Let's see what this McLaren can do. He goes up into P5 with another 1:45.0. So very close qualifying session like I would have expected. So there's still quite a few drivers that still haven't even set a time. Here we have Birdman coming up towards the bus stop now.
Lucas on a fast lap as well.
Birdman coming around the final corner. Let's see if he can at least get a lap on the board. He does. Lucas and Birdman at the bottom of the timesheets. It looked like they had some issues there in that lap.
Bossman still yet to complete a lap.
It looks like Sniper Pig is still pushing. He flings it on into Puwan here. Let's see if he can go even faster.
Lucas spins at the top of a Rouge, almost collecting another car.
And it looks like he did make contact with somebody as Lucas gets a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Kill the Birdman.
Kill the Birdman was actually the one that passed him. It did not look like there was contact on my screen, but the game says otherwise.
So we are riding on board with Sniper Pig through Blanchimont and up towards the bus stop chicane. This is a great camera angle looking at this bus stop chicane as he flicks it right and flicks it left into the pit lane. So that lap was not up to standards. Let's see if Racer X goes off into the pit lane or if he's going to stay on the track. Looks like he's a little off pace, so he's going to be coming into the pit lane. See what these next drivers coming up behind him will be doing here. We got to Get That Money and Run in the McLaren coming through the bus stop. He will peel off into the pit lane.
Hefty bag. Now on a quick lap on the softs.
He's 6 tenths up on his last time. We're going to stay watching him as he comes up towards Blanchimont. He's got the pace to put himself up into the top 3 positions with this lap. Here for that Sport Pace of Racing Point Formula 1 team as he flies through Blanchimont up towards the bus stop chicane. See what he can do here. See if he has a clean chicane. Hits both of those curbs really well. He doesn't miss either apex as he comes off of the corner well as well. Let's see what he can do. He goes up into P3 with a 1:44.46. Only 0.03 of a second off of Pecan in second place.
Impressive showing for his first lap on softs.
Sinister Owl improves on his lap time. He goes a 1:44.915 but stays in P5.
Bossman moves up to 4th. I did not notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. And he's also around a tenth and a half down on this lap at the end of the first sector. Let's see what he can do in the second sector. See if he can bring it in just a little bit more. He runs a little bit wide over the curbing, but that's not going to hurt him too bad. As he comes off of the corner now, he was a second up. So, or a second down. So, looks like he's going to be peeling off into the pit lane. He must have backed out of it at some point there. Or my graphics were wrong whenever I switched to him. Sinister Owl, half a tenth up now. He goes a little bit wide in the corner with no name. See if he can keep it under control through Poo on here as he flings it on in, hits that curb on the outside perfectly, and it looks like he is backed out of it. So it looks like he must have invalidated himself in the corner of no name. We're running that strict corner cutting in this qualifying session, so it's really harsh on these drivers.
FD looking to set another lap. Coming into the bus stop chicane soon.
Sefty flies through Bonchaman now. Coming up towards this bus stop chicane, there's a car in front of him. Let's see if they go on to complete their lap. They will. It is a Williams. It is the Williams of Dollar. Dollar puts in a time of 1:45.8 to put himself up into P10. As something happened to Boknos as he is out of this session. So he's not going to be able to improve on his lap time as Zilsak finishes his lap and then pulls over to the side. See, we have Sinister Owl coming up towards Eau Rouge now, flinging it through Radion and up over the top. See if we have anybody else. As the Williams of Racer X on his outlap has spun it at Blanchimont. These drivers better watch out coming up towards this bus stop chicane. That's going to be terrible for Racer X. That means he's not going to be able to finish any more flying laps, and he's going to have to deal with the lap time he has because he does not have enough time to get back around and get another lap in.
Tough break. Definitely not a track you want to be content with your qualifying lap at.
So we have Madia, who's still yet to set a qualifying time up towards the bus stop chicane. He can get a P18 position here by just setting one lap. It looks like he should be able to here as he opens up his DRS on his final straight. 1:47.3, so puts himself up into P16. We have quite a few drivers on their flying laps now. Dollar coming around Blanchimont now up to the bus stop chicane, followed by the Ferrari of Pecan on his outlap. Let's see if Dollar peels off into the pit lane. Yes, he does. So he releases Pecan to go on to his flying lap.
Sinister Owl on a flying lap currently. Coming
Greco
up to the
is also
line.
on a flying lap. Sinister Owl
and he goes
P2
second
with a 1:44.1. So he flies on up the order there for Renault, putting in a great lap there, almost pipping Sniper Pig, who's coming around the final corner now to start his final flying lap. We have a few cars coming up towards the Blanchimont now. We have the McLaren of Get That Money and Run and the Haas of Glen Coco coming through Blanchimont now up towards the bus stop chicane. Let's see if any of them can improve on their lap times. Looking up at that timing screen to see if there was anybody in front of him setting a new lap time. It doesn't look like it. Glen Coco coming across the line now. He will stay in P11 and Get That Money and Run will stay P7 as Racer X is retired from the session as the session is now ended. See what these drivers can put together here at the very dying seconds of the session.
Sniper Pig not giving any chance for somebody to pass his pole lap.
We're gonna ride with Pecan here as he comes up towards Blanchimont, followed by the Alfa Romeo of Maida. So let's see what they can do here. Pecan coming up towards the bus stop chicane now. Might have gotten invalidated by that, I'm not sure, but he continues on anyways as In the background, as Pecan sets a 144.6 and does not go faster, in the background, Maida missed the final chicane and goes straight into the wall. See, we have Bossman
flying into the final chicane.
Sniper Pig coming around the final chicane now. Let's see if he can improve on his lap time, opening up his DRS now. And he will. He's first driver into the 143s with a 143.6. Unbelievable lap time as Sinister Owl puts it into the wall at the opening of the pit lane. And he has been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. Huge disappointment for Sinister Owl. He will now not be starting on that front row anymore for Renault. Huge disappointment there, as the McLaren of Get That Money and Run is coming up towards Blanchimont now, but he is not at full speed. Not sure if there are any more drivers on track at full speed. Looks like Greco has a very disappointing qualifying session down in P12. Very unusual for Greco.
That lap that Sniper Pig set in the last seconds of this qualifying session. Wow.
That was unbelievable. Wow. Sinister. Okay, so after a little bit of drama there at the end, Sniper Pig is on pole by 4/10 over Pecan and P2 and Hefty Bag in P3. Bossman is in P4 with a 144.7. Racer X, P5 for Williams. P6, Get That Money and Run. P7 is Boconos. P8 is Dilsack. P9 is Dollar Hyde. P10, Glen Coco. P11, Miami. 12th will be Greco. And that is all I can say for right now. Lucas will line up P13. Drew U P14. Maida P15. Gilda Birdman P16, Man P17, Sinister P18, and rounding out the field will be the Ferrari driver of Thunder in P19.
Tough day for Sinister.
That is really, really bad for him.
All right.
Can't help but feel bad for him, that's for sure. All right, so now we have a short intermission here while we get the race lobby set up. Go ahead and look at this new Halloween livery here. This thing is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to scroll on over to customization, go to the multiplayer car, and this car is absolutely stunning.
I'm not gonna lie. I see this and I'm kind of tempted by it. It's pretty great.
This thing is absolutely beautiful. As this lobby is put together here, I'll also show the new helmet that has came out for Halloween. It's under premium helmets. It is the Pumpkinhead. This thing is absolutely just sick. It's a pretty cool helmet in all honesty.
That is pretty great.
So, as we have a little bit of controversy here once again with Sinister Owl, who parked it right there in front of the pit lane and got a penalty from it. So, it's a little bit shocking for him, but hopefully for his sake, he'll be able to keep that position, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to.
That's going to be a bit of a challenge for him to convince people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking here. It's going to be hard for him, that's for sure. Oh, I'm going to see if any of these drivers would like an interview while we wait. Don't know if we want to interview Sinister right now or not, because
I would say probably not. It would not go over well.
that'd be like sticking a mic into a driver's face that just got out of a fight. It's never really a good idea.
Unless you want to fight yourself.
Very true. Sent out the message to see if anybody wanted to have an interview. Hopefully we can get one or two.
It would be
really nice.
It would be nice. Give a little bit of insight on the driver's thoughts coming into the race for our viewers.
I wish I could stream on YouTube and Twitch simultaneously as Apex comes into the lobby to jump in that Ferrari seat.
So Sinister would love an interview. Yep, I will, just gonna inform him at the beginning to just, keep it clean. We would like to keep this stream clean as possible. I will get it. I already sent it. Okay. um. Good afternoon. I would just like to say I know tensions are pretty high after what happened in qualifying. We just need to keep it clean, but
yeah, we're trying to stay monetized. So, disregarding the end of the session, how do you feel about your qualifying pace there? You were in P2, so that was a very good effort by you.
Well, I will say this. I will, in your defense, Pecon, in his first experience running in WEC, got stuck sideways in the pit lane. So, at this very track, mind you, so I think he will have some leniency, but I cannot, guarantee anything. Yes, you are.
Oh, you are, yeah.
You've been on stream the entire time.
So, how have you done any race pace? Have you seen what your race pace would be like? Okay, what's your strategy looking like here? Just a simple one stop, or are you gonna do a two stop, or what do you think? See what everybody else does. Yeah, I completely feel for that. It's pretty hard to figure out your strategy, especially whenever you've never really done a long run. Yeah, that was a mighty lap. I jumped onto you coming through the end of the final sector, or the
I
second sector, and
I
it was
caught
looking really good.
yeah, I caught most of that lap, and it was very quick. So congratulations on that.
You really flew through Poulon, that's for sure.
Well, we'd like to congratulate you on that.
Yeah,
It's well deserved.
congratulations on your front row spot. A great qualifying session there. Try to put a battle to Sniper Pig and see if you can take away this win from him.
Oh yes, he has. All right, man. All right, man. Well, good luck, and we love to see what you'll be able to do in the race. No problem.
Yep. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, now Hefty Bag 1-1 as well. I'm not sure if we have too much time here, but
We can get a quick one in if.
we have a full grid of 20 drivers, so this is going to be a great session.
Yes, it will be.
As the session looks like it is starting, so we might not have enough time for this. Oh, and the session is not starting, as we now have Hefty Bag in the party. So
okay, so just a quick rundown. We said this to Owl as well. Seeming as you are on stream, we just want to keep it clean, no swearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel after your qualifying run here?
I'm honestly kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting to be that far up the grid just yet. I don't have a strategy. Just gonna go quick and see what happens.
Well, you can definitely do that after seeing what you can do in F2. So.
Yeah, hopefully.
How is Racing Point treating you at this time? You getting into the team well?
Pretty good. Yeah, me and Drew got into a little banter already right off the start, so.
That's good. Alright, well, as the race session is starting, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Good luck in this race, Hefty Bag.
Peace
Have
out.
fun.
Good luck, man.
Alright, everybody. Here comes the race. UDL F1 League, round 13 of this championship here at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgium Grand Prix. Oh, this is going to be a thriller.
Yes, it will be. And I'm very excited to see how this top 10 is going to play out.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute thriller all the way through to the end. 22 laps of racing here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. It's going to be a nice long race. So you can come out on top.
How do you feel like the top 3 is going to pan out?
Sniper Pig looked like he was untouchable in that qualifying session. I mean, with Sinister's time staying at a 44.1, the 43.6 is just unbelievable. I mean, that's 5/10 up. So I'm really looking at Sniper Pig to be the class of the field here today and run off of this victory, unless he does make a few mistakes, which he does have a tendency to do sometimes.
I completely agree. For me, I'd say my top 3 is going to be Sniper Pig, Sinister Owl, and Pecan coming into the third.
Honestly, this is such a tough one to do because there's so many fast drivers in this field. I'm really looking at Hefty Bag to get on the podium here in this first race. He definitely has the pace to do it. It's just whether he can stay away from those mistakes as they start their formation lap. But I believe Sniper Pig will come home with the victory and maybe Maybe
I
Hefty
agree.
Pag P3 and Sinister Owl P2.
That I have no arguments to that.
As all 10 drivers in the top 10 are on the soft compound tire, as well as Glenn Coco, Greco, Drew Yu, Maida, Apex, and Space Hero. The drivers on the medium compound tires will be Miami, Lucas, Kill the Birdman, and Man Man. Oh, this is going to be a thriller.
Great, so that means we have no penalties as far as tires go, which is great.
It's always great to start with a clean slate.
It always hurts when you know the race is decided by a tire penalty.
I want a nice camera view here. Where's a good camera shot? This is a pretty good one. Up towards the corner with no name. As we watch the drivers come into this corner here, heating up their tires and their brakes. You have two drivers on the grid still of Drew Yu and Maida. So it looks like they must have had it coming together and gotten disqualified from this formation lap, which is going to be very detrimental to them. Tires, brakes will all be cold, as well as their engines, so they're not going to have the greatest of starts here. We're going off of just their temperatures alone.
It must be said, Sniper Pig has to be really happy with his position right now because he's set up really great for this turn one, and turn one at this track is brutal, no matter what you're driving.
Yeah, turn one on this track is always going to be tight, and we always know a lot can happen in turn one here at the Belgian GP at Spa-Francorchamps. That nice tight hairpin.
A lot can happen
wide
in turn one to begin with, but make it an extremely tight hairpin, and
going up through Eau Rouge and Radion also is going to be very tight, as we have another couple of cars that were also disqualified from the formation lap. So a few disqualifications from the formation lap here before this Belgian GP. Hopefully there aren't too many tempers flaring after that, as it looks like we have the green flag as we are waiting for the lights to come on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the lights are out, and away we go for the Belgian GP. Sniper Pig gets a good start with Sinister Owl pulling him up alongside. Pecan gets an excellent start, and he's down the inside of Owl coming through turn one as we have as drivers spread out through the runoff area. It doesn't look like we have too many run-ins. Up here we go towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Sinister Owl and Cypher and Pecan right neck and neck here with Bossman.
Oh my god!
In P4, there's a huge crash.
And a massive.
There's a huge crash at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion. Huge incident here as Dollar Hyde and the Williams comes out of this the worst, as he is now retired from the session.
And Sniper Pig make slight contact, causing Sinister Owl to get into the back of Pecan and lose a front wing piece.
This front battle is a huge pack of cars, and let me just point out, Greco is in P5 after starting P13.
Sinister Owl runs into the wall.
Sinister Owl hits the wall here, as he is struggling for front-end downforce. Not the start that he was looking for here. And Greco is all the way up to P4 already. Hefty Bag had a bad start here, and he's down into P6. Very close through this first lap.
Apex all the way to 12th now.
And Sinister's retired from the session. It all came apart for Sinister here, as he has lost it, and so has Man Man in that. Oh my god! So Man Man and Sinister Owl have both spun it at the end of the second sector there. As Miami is now falling down the timesheets as well. Miami is off the track, and so is Drew Yu. There's a ton of drivers having issues here as Drew Yu pulls into the pit lane to change his front wing. As we have a nice little battle here between Get That Money and Run Space Hero and Glen Coco, as well as Apex at the back end of the points. Is Apex! Apex loses at the top of Rouge and Madion, and he is out of the race.
Both is out as well.
Comes around, and he is out of this race. Unbelievable how much calamity has already happened in this GP. As Glen Coco gets shoved wide.
Kill the Birdman sideways. Oh no, sorry about that. That was Glen Coco.
Glen Coco and the Haas, a ton of disappointment here at the start of this Belgian GP. This Bossman is now up into P3 Greco and P4 Hefty and P5 Sniper Pig and Pecan, P1 and P2. Real Space Hero is all the way up to P8 from plumb last in the field. Huge disappointments there. As Hefty Bag spins out of P5
and almost backs into
racing
a car.
Point. Now he's going to have to wait for the entire field to come by before he can even pull back onto the track. This is a huge time loss for him.
Oh boy.
As he pulls onto the track right in front of Maida. Thankfully there's no more contact there. This is unbelievable, the start of this race. I told them to give me a little bit of stuff to shout about, but not this much. As Sniper Pig sets the fastest lap of the GP there with a 148.45. As DRS is now enabled. See how spread out the rest of the field is now with all these crashes here.
Miami and Glen Coco in a little bit of a battle.
The top three are all separated by a few tenths apiece. Let's see if this DRS can help any of them. Pecan and Bossman both have DRS. Bossman is right on the rear wing of Pecan. Pecan goes defensive. Bossman looks to the inside, but he can't quite get alongside and make that move. Looks like Sniper Pig might get out of this DRS zone here very soon. As Miami pulls to the inside of Glen Coco at the end of the straight. Let's see if he can get this one done, and it looks like he has. He takes away that P11, and he'll be looking to get up to P10 now. His teammate, Kill the Birdman, is right in front of him in that last points-paying position. That's Sniper Pig
out of the DRS now.
Bossman is right on the back of Pecan here. Big dark horse in this race. As Apex sadly has left the session after his DNF. So Bossman all the way up to P3 now for Renault. Huge disappointment for one Renault driver, but really good start for the other one. Sees Bossman right on the back of Pecan as he touches the grass just a little bit, entering Blanchimont. Looks like he might be going for it down the inside towards the bus stop chicane. He will be. There's a little bit of contact as he forces Pecan wide. Pecan hits him in the rear diffuser. It's like a, hey, buddy, that wasn't very nice of you. So now Pecan will have the DRS through the Camel Straight. So let's see if Pecan can get back at him. And all this battling is just letting Sniper Pig soar off into the distance. He's already 2 seconds ahead. Wow. There's another yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. Man is out of this Grand Prix as well. Unbelievable. And see, we've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, so there's no overtaking. Man leaves the session. So this will definitely be putting a hamper on Pecan trying to get this position away from Bossman. He couldn't quite get it that time around because of the yellow flags. It looks like Glen Coco and Miami are going at it again. Glen Coco overdoes it at the end of the Camel Straight, and he comes back on track behind Miami. This battle for P11s keeps raging on. Fighting for pride here. Miami and Glen Coco.
Get that money and run slowly, trying to gain back on Racer X.
As it looks like Bossman out of the DRS range of Pecan, just barely. See if Pecan has a straight line speed to pull him back here in this final sector. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 2 once again. Not quite sure who it's for. It looks like it is Glen Coco. Glen Coco is spun in Sector 2. Man, What a race this has been. He spun coming up towards the end of the straight. Him and Miami. Let's see. He spun in Puan, so him and Miami were battling it hard. Looks like he might have just clipped that inside curb just a little too hard and spun it out.
Greco starting to gain on the top 3 now.
Greco had no pace in qualifying, but it seems like he has plenty of race pace. He's catching right up to the back of these podium positions here. He's closed down a pretty big gap there of around 2.5 seconds, and Get That Money and Run is in that DRS window of Racer X, but the straight isn't quite long enough for him, as Lucas has lost it at the top of Eau Rouge now, so now he falls out of the P10 and has no front wing, so he'll have to come into the pit lane.
Eau Rouge just being brutal today, and Madia.
He lost it somewhere. I'm going to watch Hefty Bag to see where he might be. I think he might have lost it in Eau Rouge as well. He did.
So, yeah.
The yellow flags are in Eau Rouge and Radion, so he lost it at the top of here too. Hefty Bag goes really wide, and you can see made his car in the wall there.
Hefty had a big loss of traction there.
It looks like Space had a little bit of a mistake there. He lost his P7 to Dilsack. So it looks like a lot of drivers are struggling here today at the Belgian GP. We know it's a hard track, but wow, this is a lot different than I thought it would turn out to be. So now all the drivers are spaced out by over a second, so nobody's in a DRS zone anymore. So, one of our podium finishers is now out of the race, and one of my podium finishers is in P12.
The drama that's gone on so far. My God.
So we have another yellow flag in Sector 2. Not quite sure who that's for. So Lucas peels off into the pit lane to get himself a new front wing. Huge disappointment for the Haas driver here as he was running in the points paying positions. All that's gonna go to waste unless he can put together a nice final stint on those hard tires if he puts them on. And it looks like he will be, so all these drivers that lost some of their front wing at the start of the race still have a little glimmer of hope to get some points here today with these hard tire stints, if they can make those hard tires last to the end of this GP.
I just realized Real Space Hero has gone up 12 positions since we started.
I'm going to go to, let's see, position change. So, as a recap, Bossman is up 3 positions. Greco is up a whole 9 positions from P13 on the grid. Space Hero is up 12 positions from dead last. Kill the Birdman is up 8 positions just from staying clean here in the start of this race. Bokanos is down 9 positions. Sinister Owl down 17 and Dollar down 10. Huge disappointment for all 6 of these drivers that have already DNF'd out of this race. Wow. Oh, man. And we know how much harder Eau Rouge gets and Radion gets as the tires go away. So this is going to be a never-ending saga at the top of that hill.
Yep.
I just can't believe this.
I didn't expect this race to be that incident-filled.
I mean, we have a lot of good drivers in this league that are out of this race, and then a lot of midfield drivers that I wouldn't have expected to do that.
Yeah.
This is quite insane how this race has went. Sinister Owl and Maida both crashing at the same spot as Kill the Birdman. Kill the Birdman has spun himself. He's in the gravel at He is in the gravel at the end of the straight in that right, left, right chicane. So huge disappointment for him. He's down into P10, and that promotes Miami up into P9. Just a little bit of a position swap between the two Toro Rossos.
I'm wondering how slippery this course really is today. You know, it seems people are having a lot of traction and grip issues.
And it is overcast as well, might I add, so the track is going to be very cool. These drivers aren't going to be able to get as much heat into their tires like they would want. As Greco peels off into the pit lane, he'll be the first one to go into the pits to get a new set of shoes for his car. Watch this pit stop unfold here. A nice quick one by the McLaren crew. So he goes on to the medium compound tires for his second and final stint. I would assume it would be his second and final stint. So he comes out onto the track right behind Space. So that's not going to be good for Greco. He's going to need to get by Real Space Hero as soon as possible.
Already 8 laps into this GP.
Yeah, the start of this race is really flown by fast as Greco has DRS on Space, and he's using a lot of its ERS deployment as well, it looks like, but just not quite close enough to get this move done at the end of the straight. It's going to be a huge disappointment for him because this outlap is going to be disturbed quite a lot by Space in front of him.
Unless he can pull off a crazy good move, but
if he can go around the outside of Pouan, I would be amazed. It looks like he didn't quite get the run out of the corner. He's gaining, but he just doesn't quite have enough there to be able to get alongside through Pouan. He is faster though.
He looks to the outside. Will go for the outside.
And he tries for the cutback. Zhu gets a time penalty for corner cutting. He goes for the cutback, but Space covers it off, and Space is doing a really good job of holding up Greco here for his teammate Sniper. His crew to get him out in front of Greco. Greco's still behind Space coming to Blanchimont. He's still going to be behind through the bus stop as well.
Drew retired as well.
Drew out of this GP after struggling a little bit. He's been to the pit lane a few times. His boss man is coming out of the pit lane now, and he will get back on track behind the Mercedes of Dulsac, and critically way in front of Greco, who is still stuck behind Space. It looks like Dulsac might be under pressure here from Bossman. Coming up at the end of the Camel Straight, not quite close enough to get the overtake done. Greco and Space are in very close proximity as well. Greco still not close enough to Space to get this move done.
Get That Money and Run is now within DRS distance of Racer X as well.
As Bossman gets the move done around that right-hander. Great move there, jumping to the inside and getting it done.
Oh,
he got by as quick as possible there.
Greco tried to go on the outside and got hit a little bit by Real Space Hero.
Greco now goes to the inside of Pouan. Space is going to have a hard time holding it around the outside. So he gets forced just a little bit wide there, and Greco takes P7 away from Space. But Greco has lost a lot of time there. He's already 6 seconds behind Bossman.
He's going to have to fight to get that time back.
He's going to be very frustrated with Space there for holding him up that long. His Sniper Pig peels off into the pit lane, and so does Econ from P2. See if Racer X falls into the pits, or if he goes another lap. It looks like he will. Racer X stays on the track. Get that and run and peels off into the pit lane. So it looks like a lot of these drivers are opting the final corner. That's where he comes out in relation to Sniper Pig and Pecan. Coming right now. Pig of the pits. It looks like Bossman might be able to get from him going up into Eau Rouge. It's going to be very close as Pecan comes out behind Bossman. So Bossman is definitely the Sniper Pig there with the undercut. He's within a second.
I would just like to apologize to anybody viewing my stream. I seem to have very bad lag issues right now. Not sure why.
Bossman didn't quite have DRS there as Miami loses it at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion. So Miami, huge disappointment for him as well. He's on 9-lap old medium compound tires, and like I said earlier, the older these tires get, the harder that turn's going to become. His Bossman is within 6/10 of Sniper Pig here through this middle sector. So you have yet another yellow flag somewhere. It's Racer X and Bossman have had a huge collision there. And their AIs are going insane, and they have blocked the track. Both retired cars are blocking the track here. This is disgusting here. As Get That Money and Run loses the back end. Let's see if Miami can get through these two drivers cleanly. It looks like he'll be able to.
That was very risky on Miami's part to go that fast through there.
And thankfully both cars have disappeared before space gets there. But wow, the drama ensues here. Racer X, I didn't get to see the incident, but I'm assuming Racer X lost it.
I saw it. Well, I didn't see Racer X. I think he had spun, but Sniper Pig tried to avoid slightly, and I thought he had lost traction, and all of a sudden I see Bossman just get destroyed and lose a front wheel.
Wow. So just like that, we went from 20 runners to 11 in this Belgian GP. Are we racing Formula 1 or are we doing a destruction derby? I can't tell. And this is why it's really important to never give up here, because the drivers that had issues at the start of this race, like Hefty Bag, Lucas, and Glenn Coco, are now in the points already.
One more person retires and everybody's getting points.
So it's very important for these drivers just not to give up and keep churning out laps. Huge disappointment there for Bossman. He had such a good drive coming there.
Wow.
Would have been a really nice podium for the Renault team after the disappointment of Sinister Owl in the first lap.
The drama.
This is insane.
Like, you can say that again.
This is insane. Wow.
Real Space Hero coming up on Miami.
We have a little bit of flying colors coming in here. Sniper Pig goes a 148.0 for the fastest time of the race. A few drivers are not very happy right now with a couple of other drivers. The race stewards are going to have their hands full, that's for sure.
I'd hate to be them.
Ha, a wink. I'm going to do a lot of arguing this week with a few drivers, it seems, as Miami comes into the pit lane now after a 10-lap stint on those medium compound tires. Let's see if Birdman comes in or not. No, he stays out. So let's see where Miami comes out in relation to Hefty Bag and Lucas. Hefty Bag looks like he's definitely going to get by. Let's see if Lucas is close enough to get to him. No, he's not. He's coming out of Blanchimont now. So Hefty Bag is up to P8, and he's right on the back of Kill the Birdman for P7. So Hefty Bag still showing some good pace on those hard compound tires. As long as he nurses them enough to get to the end, he should be fine for a few points here. As Miami goes onto the soft compound tires.
Extremely dramatic race. This entire race, like, you know, normally the drama is at the start, at the beginning, and at the end, but it's been consistent.
Yeah, this has been insane. It's like one after the other here. Unbelievable. Wow. So, at the lap 12 point here, right after halfway through this race, Sniper Pig is in the lead about 4 seconds ahead of Pecan in P2, Greco's in P3 after a great start and a good drive all the way from P13 on the grid to get all the way up to P3. He's 11.5 seconds behind Pecan. Has killed a Birdman, and Hefty Bag seemed to maybe have had a run together. I'm not quite sure if Birdman just went wide there or if they had a little bit of a running together. But Hefty Bag takes that P7 nevertheless. Get that money and run in P4 in that McLaren. Dulsac in his first career UDL F1 League appearance is running in good points here for Mercedes in P5. Space all the way from P20 on the grid is in P6 now for Red Bull. So Red Bull look like they're going to be getting a decent haul of points. McLaren are going to be getting a ton of points this weekend. Hefty Bag, a little bit of a redemption drive from him. He's all the way up into P7 now after that calamity at the beginning of this race. Killed the Birdman in P8 for Toro Rosso, followed by his teammate Miami in P9, and then the two Haas drivers rounding out the remaining field of Lucas in P10 and Glenn Coco in P11.
Wow. No, I'm speechless after the first half of this race.
Wow. I did not expect Greco to be on the podium in this race. After qualifying, seeing him in P13, I did not expect him to be all the way up there. I mean, get that money and run started P7 in the other McLaren, and Greco just stormed right by everybody to get all the way up to, I believe, P4 or P5 by the end of the second lap. Unbelievable start from Greco. Space as well had a really good start. He was all the way up to P12 after the first lap from P20. So a few good starts here and good drives out of some of these drivers.
Greco is currently up 10 positions. Real Space Hero 14 and Kill the Birdman 9.
Hefty Bag down 3 positions, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to gain any more. It's 11 seconds behind Space. Space is on those medium compound tires.
I wouldn't even say that because, you know, we've had some very, very crazy incidences in this race, and I wouldn't put it past it to have more before the end.
Sniper Pig makes a little bit of a mistake there, misses the apex, and misses another apex here through Buon. He's losing a little bit of concentration here, and it's going to allow Pecan to catch up just that little bit. He's already lost around 5 or 6 tenths on this lap. Man, this is unbelievable. I am shocked that this race has been the way it has been. Absolutely shocked. Racer X leaves the session, and Greco! Oh my God, Greco! Greco is retired from the session after the praise that I just gave him. He lost it in the same spot as Maida and Sinister Owl.
Oh my God.
And he is stopped in a very precarious position in the middle of the track. Hopefully none of these drivers coming around hit him, and we have a virtual safety car. So after all those crashes, we finally have our first virtual safety car of the session.
Oh my God.
These drivers have to be careful not to speed under this virtual safety car. Glenn Coco, just as I say that, gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. So, as I was saying, Hefty Bag went all the way to almost plumb last at the start of this race. He's all the way up to P6 now, and he did have the opportunity for a free pit stop. Driver like Pecan, well, it's not really a free pit stop because it's only a virtual safety car. If this was a true safety car, this would be this would flip the race on its head. Without 100%. So now, as the virtual safety car ends and DRS is now enabled, every driver will get a point in this GP.
That is amazing.
I guess there's always a silver lining here. all of these drivers that have stuck it out through thick and thin will at least get a point for their troubles. As Dilsack loses it, coming out of the right-hander up to the corner with no name. That allows Space to get up really close to him within 1.5 seconds. Dilsack struggling for grip right there. Looks like Space is closing now, so that might have hurt Dilsack's confidence just a little bit. See if Space can pull into these 2/10 here in this final sector. Maybe get himself into DRS range. He pulled out 2/10 right there. Another 2/10 coming down the straight. He's using a lot of his ERS here to get nice and close to Dilsack to get into that DRS range.
Oh, he doesn't use it all. That would really hurt his chances.
As long as he can get into that DRS window, he'll be able to stay there for a few laps and build it back up before he goes for this attack. There's a huge gap between P4 and P3, so these drivers are most likely battling for the positions they're at. But it looks like Space is going to be going for the move here very soon. He looks really punchy right now in that Red Bull, right up behind the Mercedes of Dilsack. This is a very familiar battle here to real life. As Space is closing fast, he must be running very little downforce as Dilsack goes extremely defensive down the Camel Straight, but he has no match for the straight line speed of Space in that Red Bull. Space takes P4 away from Dilsack.
Wow.
In an incredible drive all the way from P20. As Dilsack goes just a little bit wide there once again. He's really struggling in that long right-hander. Definitely a tough corner. Really having a hard time there.
This has been such a crazy race. I have a feeling it's not over.
Oh no, something else is going to happen. I can smell it. Because at this point, as Sniper Pig puts in a 147.906 to extend his lead even further, he is putting on an absolute clinic here at Spa-Francorchamps. Him and Pecan are around 20 seconds ahead of P3. Get that money in the run. They have a huge gap back to the next driver. Huge gap. There's a lot of big gaps here in between all these drivers just because of all the incidents that we've had here. It's really a shame that all these drivers weren't able to continue racing, but it is racing. This is how it turns out sometimes.
That is definitely the truth.
Spa, with how hard of a track it is, how aero-dependent this middle sector is, it's definitely easy to mess up one time and ruin your entire race. Oh, wow.
Just incredible.
This has been definitely an exciting race. For the wrong reasons, but it has definitely been exciting. My throat already hurts from all the yelling I've done. There's still 5 laps left for something else to happen.
Yep.
Because we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, right on cue. Lucas loses it at the top of Eau Rouge and breaks his front wing. So it looks like he's going to have to come into the pit lane most likely. Be watching him to see if he makes any more mistakes without that front wing. He takes it nice and gingerly through this really fast chicane. Make sure he doesn't put it in the gravel anywhere. If he puts it in the gravel, that'll be a huge time loss. So he'll be looking to fight Glenn Coco for that final points paying position after his pit stop. Wow. Right on cue. We're going to really be having to look at Hefty Bag here in this Sport Pace Racing point. These 13 laps on these hard tires, you know they have to be falling off, and Lucas is on 11 lap old tires, and he just completely lost it at the top of Eau Rouge. So you can definitely tell it's really tricky. I'm going to watch through Eau Rouge and Vadia on this lap, see just how gingerly he has to be with his car here. A little bit of a lift on entry, but he's nice and smooth on the steering input. As long as you're smooth on your steering input, you should be okay whenever it comes to Eau Rouge and Vadia. So Lucas finally gets to the pit lane after that super long lap. He's going to really be looking to stay in front of Glenn Coco here, but he probably won't be able to as Glenn's coming up to the bus stop chicane now. They might have one last battle on track here, depending on when Lucas comes out. And what tires he puts on. He's putting on the soft compound tires as Glenn Coco comes by now. See if Lucas can get out and get running. As Sniper Pig is coming up to lap these drivers now. Lucas is now a lap down. As Pecan comes by as well. So Lucas is a lap down. Glenn Coco will be the next one to fall. And Hefty Bag is retired from the session.
Oh my God.
I'm not quite sure where he lost it. I think he lost it at the same place as Greco and a few other drivers. No, he lost it where Racer X and Bossman went out. So Hefty Bag is now retired from the session as well. For that Fort Paysa Racing Point Formula 1 team. Those were very valuable points for that team fighting in the midfield, as his car has now disappeared. But if there is a silver lining, he will be the DNF that does get a point. But as I was talking about how his tires are falling off, he immediately spins it. And so that really shows you how much wear was on those tires. And I wouldn't be surprised if Glenn Coco makes any sort of a mistake here too.
Let's be honest though, it might not have been the wear, it could have been a commentator's curse.
It could have been. Well, we won't talk about that. Well, the closest two cars on track seem to be Lucas and Pecan. Actually, Glenn Coco and Sniper Pig might be closer together. Yeah, they're both on the same straight here, so Sniper Pig might be coming up to lap Glenn Coco here soon. Especially since Glenn is going to be on fading tires here. Might get a little bit of action here at the end of this race.
What a race.
Watch Glenn Coco come up through Eau Rouge and Radion, and his car definitely did not look stable going through there, but he was able to make it through unscathed. Sniper Pig is slowly catching up to the back of Glenn. He has plenty of time to get there. I mean, he has a 6-second gap, so he can take his time lapping if he needs be.
Question is, does he want to take his time? I would advise it, but
you never know.
The longer you are behind somebody, with how many incidents have happened, the more you could get an incident yourself.
It seems like every time there are two drivers close to each other, as he runs a little bit wide there through Puwan, every time there's two drivers close to each other, it seems to not end very well. So Cypherpig's going to be hoping that ghosting is turned on here, and he can just go straight through Glenn Coco. Probably not how it is, but very small glimmer of hope for whenever he catches up, just in case something happens. Wow. This has been just a weird race.
There's some points where we don't have anything to talk about, and others where it's so exciting. It's the most excitement we've had all year.
Yeah, as Glenn Coco gets the blue flag shown to him. Not pulling over to let Sniper Pig go, though. So Sniper Pig's not going to be very happy. He's going to be singing the Sebastian Vettel song here saying blue flag here. Come on. He definitely doesn't want to be behind Glen Coco for very long. And Glen Coco slows down at the perfectly wrong time. Sniper Pig almost runs into the back of him there.
That was very dangerous.
So, as Glen Coco gets lapped there by Sniper Pig, Peacon's going to be coming up to Glen Coco here very soon as well. See, the action's not quite over yet. We got a little bit left as we have 2 more laps in this GP. Wow, that would have been a terrible time for anything to happen. Speaking of anything to happen, we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. And Glen Coco has spun. So Glen Coco has spun it right in front of Pecan. He falls down into P9 and Lucas is promoted up to P8.
Wow.
Glen Coco clips the curb on the inside through Poulon.
The track conditions today are just not ideal.
These drivers seem to be really struggling for grip here. I'm sure it's the overcast conditions here in Belgium. Definitely not a great day for these drivers, but if you look at the plus side, for some of these drivers, they were all doing the sunshine dance because it was supposed to rain here today. But thankfully for these drivers,
I could only imagine what it would have been if it was raining.
We're going to have a prop bet next time we come to this race for how many retirements we're going to have. So Glen Coco stays out on those 16 lap old hard compound tires. The Space leaves the session. The Space leaves out of P4. AI still continues on, but Space is going to want to get back as soon as possible. He's going to be losing heaps of time to Dilsack in P5. Here on this final lap of the Belgian GP. Wow, this race is already ending. Unbelievable.
I lost track of time.
Through all the yelling I've done, I forgot how much time we've actually spent in this race. Space is losing a ton of time, but I don't think he's going to lose enough to lose that P4 after leaving. Space was at the Mexican GP earlier this morning, so he might be just a bit tipsy here, but I don't blame him. He went to party. He was in the stadium section. He partied. Sniper Pig coming up to Blanchimont now on his final lap. Lap 22 out of 22 coming up to the bus stop chicane. As long as he doesn't make any more mistakes on traction here, he will be the winner of the UDL F1 League Belgian GP. Pecan will be coming across the line here in P2. The Haas driver Lucas coming home behind him in P8. Get that money and run coming up to Blanchimont now. He's going to be, as Glen Coco crosses the line, P9. Both of those drivers were a lap down. Get that money and run coming up to the bus stop now. He's going to be coming across the line in P3 as long as nothing happens. On the exit, make sure he gets the power down, and yep, he's going to come across the line in P3 for that podium position. Space coming up to the bus stop chicane now, and just look at how much time he lost to Dilsack with that AI driving his car.
He's gonna be really happy to know that his AI got him fourth, though.
Space comes home in P4, Dilsack in P5. Miami coming up to Blanchimont now. Will cross the line in P6 for Toro Rosso. As he comes through the final chicane now, and he crosses the line. P6 for Miami. And Birdman coming through Blanchimont for the final time.
What a race.
Coming home in P7.
What a race.
So the points finishers are Sniper Pig, the winner of this Belgian GP, Pecan P2. Get that money to run, and comes home in P3 for McLaren. Space Hero P4 from P20 on the grid. Great drive from him. Dilsack comes home in P5. Miami in P6. Kill the Birdman. Rounds it out in P7. And I just skipped the podium ceremony on accident.
I would just like to say Red Bull has to be so happy with its drivers today.
Yes, especially the drive from space up through the field.
Yes.
The points were going to be a glimmer of hope for him, and he ended up scoring quite a few here today. So Sniper Pig comes home with the win here at the Belgian GP, round 13 of the UDL F1 League. Peak on P2 and get that money and run P3. That'll allow Sniper Pig to stretch that gap just a little bit more in the driver's standings. As Hefty Bag doesn't cross the line and complete around 16 laps this Belgian GP, but he still gets a point. So there's a little silver lining there. So we have 11 DNFs here in this Belgian GP.
Just, wow. I don't even know how else to describe that race.
This has been one wild race. So we have been your commentators, Mr. Damage and Jonathan, commentating for the UDL United Drivers League. Thank you all for coming, and goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Goodbye.